Hello everyone, welcome back to PC Species. So last week you saw two videos from us. One was the 8 GPU shootout and the other one was the review of the RTX 5060 Ti. This time we have another review for you. So we have the RTX 5060 with us and the story again it remains the same. Underwhelming GPUs and at least for the 5060 the pricing is alright. It's not too bad, but it's not too good either. So we'll take a look at the specifications first, and the only things that are going to matter is this. The bus interface is X8 even though it is PCI Express 5.0, and the memory bus is 128-bit wide, but since it is GDDR7 it gives us a decent bandwidth. So these are the only things that you need to be worried about, and we'll talk about them a little bit later in the video. For the benchmarks, I would just like to let you guys know that we are testing these cards at 1080p because 1440p would be a bit too much for these cards to handle, and again with the 8GB VRAM buffer it is going to be even more difficult. Other than that, we have not tested ray tracing as extensively as we do, because again even at 1080p at ultra quality, if you enable ray tracing it is a bit too much for these cards to handle, but still I'll give you a ballpark number between the Nvidia card and the AMD card. Now we are going to talk about the GPUs tested here. We have the RTX 5060 obviously on a 100% scale. The rest of the cards are going to be measured against it. We have the RX 9060 XT 8GB, we have the Intel Arc B580, and we have the RTX 4060. Now the 4060 here is just to show gen on gen gains, so this is not recommended at all because its price is too close to the 5060 and the 5060 is significantly faster than the 4060. We are going to start with Marvel Rivals 1080p ultra quality. In this one, the RTX 5060 is 9% faster than the 9060 XT 8GB and 28% faster than the Arc B580. When compared to the 4060, it is 25% faster. In Call of Duty Black Ops 6 1080p extreme quality, now this game heavily favors AMD, so here the 9060 XT 8GB is 60% faster than the RTX 5060, and even the Arc B580 is just 11% slower. The 4060 is 9% slower. Then we have Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty 1080p high quality. Here the 9060 XT 8GB is 11% faster than the 5060, which is in turn 10% faster than the Arc B580, and against the 4060 it is 22% faster. Then we have Hogwarts Legacy 1080p high quality. Here the 5060 is 4% slower than the RX 9060 XT 8GB, 30% faster than the Arc B580, and 31% faster than the 4060. Now we have an average of a lot of games, so this gives you a decent number, a decent idea of where which card stands. So on average, the 9060 XT 8GB is 8% faster than the RTX 5060, which in turn is 20% faster than the Arc B580 and 19% faster than the 4060. Now I told you I will give you some numbers on ray tracing. So even in ray tracing, the 9060 XT 8GB is around 2 to 3% faster than the RTX 5060, which is supposed to be Nvidia's stronghold. Now there's a particular reason for that. The 9060 XT was supposed to be a 5060 Ti competitor, so it is spec'd like that. The 9060 XT 16GB variant, you saw how well it did against the RTX 5060 Ti. So with the 8GB variant as well, everything is the same, the core, the count, everything. Only difference is that this one just has 8GB of VRAM. So it is expected, it is to be expected, it is predictable that it is faster than the RTX 5060. Now, which card to buy, when it comes to this particular tier? So in raster, you can see that the 5060 is 20% faster than the Arc B580, and with ray tracing, the delta only increases. So we'll just take a look at the prices first. So the RTX 5060 Twin from Inno3D can be had for 30,000 rupees. If you want to go with another board partner, you might have to shell out a little extra, maybe 32,000 rupees. For AMD, you can get the 9060 XT Challenger 8GB OC from ASRock for 31,200. Again, if you want a better SKU, if you want a better board partner, maybe 1,000 or 1,500 rupees more. The Intel Arc B580 comes in at 27,750, and the 4060 is at 27,000, is completely irrelevant now. I don't know, for 30,000 rupees, the RTX 5060 is not too bad, but then again, with its 8GB VRAM buffer, it is going to be not very future proof, and it is going to run out of VRAM in a lot of games, even at 1080p in the future at least. The 9060 XT is faster, yes, but it is also limited to the 8 GB VRAM thing. The only difference is that the 9060 XT has all 16 lanes active. So if you run it on PCI 5.0, it is going to go all right. On 4.0, when you run out of VRAM, the experience is going to be choppy, but not as bad as the RTX 5060, which only has 8 lanes. If you jump down to PCI 3.0, that makes the 5060 even worse. Although, once you run out of VRAM, it is just comparing bad and worse. So, in that sense, the 9060 XTs may be better. So, if you want something, if you want a GPU just for gaming, you can get the 9060 XT 8 GB. If you want to include creativity in your work or requirement as well, you can go with the 5060. Now, a lot of people are going to say that why I'm not going with the Arc B580, which is cheaper and also does all right, has 12 gigabytes of VRAM. See, the problem is that the 4 GB VRAM advantage that the Arc B580 has is not enough, to make it a recommendation, at least right now. A lot of people, we have to ask our parents to buy us a PC, or you've just got a job and you want something to game on the weekends, or probably, have a side hustle on the weekends. You buy a GPU, spend your hard-earned money, and it doesn't do what it is supposed to do. So a lot is happening with Intel right now. I really want to recommend Intel because, more products in the market means more competition, and ultimately we get better products. But at the moment, the Intel Arc B580 is largely unrefined. There are driver issues. There are overhead issues that if you have an older CPU, it is going to run slower. Some people are going to argue that if you move up to 1440p, it does well. But then what does well mean? At 1440p, maybe Arc B580 gives you 30 FPS and the 5060 is sitting at 22. But then again, both of them are unplayable. So 1440p does not make any sense. So that argument collapses on itself. For this price, even for 1080p gaming, with the issues Intel has and all of that, I really hope they sort it out with future driver updates and all of that. But currently, it would be very difficult for me to recommend the Intel Arc B580 to anyone. What I'd recommend is that you maybe save up a little more money. I know it's not easy. I know it is not a viable option. But if possible, save up a little more money. Go with the 9060 XT 16 gigabytes variant and you'll be much, much, much happier. Now, this was the review of our RTX. This was our review of the RTX 5060. It is a very okay card, and it's not something that you should, readily buy. But then again, if you do not have any other options, then this is it. So this was our review. We have another review coming up. In all likelihood, you are going to see that video tomorrow. We are going to test RTX 5050, which is an even bigger piece of shit than the 5060. So stay tuned for that review, and also please like the video if you like the content. It helps us a lot because again, if we do not get enough likes, the algorithm won't push our videos and we won't get any more views. So please help us out, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.